Good morning, pre-algebra students. Time to get back to your lessons. I hope you had a good spring break. Okay, today we're going to work on lesson 7.2 on pages 272 and 273. Okay, um, we're going to use this formula again. This should look pretty familiar to you because before break you were using this formula. Percent times whole equals part. Okay, and here's our first example. 8 is 16% of a number. Okay, well, first of all, we want to plug in our numbers that we know into this formula. So 16%, our percent will go here, okay? And we want to make our 16% into a decimal. Okay, so if you remember, 16 is a whole number, so it's like our decimal point is here. And to make it into a decimal, you have to take it two places to the left. So it's 0.16, and then times, well, we're not sure what our whole number is yet, but we know our part would be 8. Okay, so I'm just going to let W stand for whole number. Now, some of you may be getting confused on which is the whole number and which is the part. Well, look carefully at what it tells us. 8, so the number 8 is only 16% of a number. So that tells me right there that 8 is only part of a number because it's not 100% of that number. It's just a part, so we know that it's a part, okay? So we have 0.16 times whatever our whole number is equal to 8, okay? And if you remember correctly, this is the same as 0.16W equals 8, okay? So to undo our multiplication here, we've got to divide. And this is review. So we're going to divide that by 0.16, and then we'll divide on the right side of the equal sign, we'll divide by 0.16. Okay, because you remember our goal is to get our W on this side by itself. So we know 0.16 divided by 0.16 would equal 1, so all we have is whatever our whole number is. And then here we've got to take 8 and divide it by 0.16. So take our 8 divided by 0.16. Now be very careful. Your top number of your fraction goes inside your division box. Your bottom number goes outside, okay? Now, remember when we're dividing by a decimal, we have to make sure that our divisor is a whole number. So to get that to be a whole number, we have to take our decimal point and go to the right 2 places. And if we did that for our divisor, we have to do the same thing for our dividend. And 8's a whole number, so it's like our decimal point is there, and we've got to move it 2 places to the right, okay? And so we put zeros in there, okay? And now we divide, okay? Now, 16 can't go into 8, but 16 can go into 80 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30, 0, carry our 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. If I subtract, I get 0. Then I'll bring down my last number, which is a 0. 16 can't go into 0, so I put a 0 here. And 0 times 16 is 0. Okay? So there's our answer. Our whole number is 50. Now, take time to watch this video again if you need to. Watch it over and over to make sure you're understanding it. But let me do one more problem, okay? And again, for these, I am using the examples in your book, if it'll help you to go back and look in your book as well. Okay, here's our next problem. 28% of what number is 182? So look again, 28% of a number. So that's only part of whatever that number is. So we know that 182 is going to be the part of the number that we're looking for. Okay, so here's our percent. And again, if we make it a decimal, we go 2 places to the left. So it's 0.28 times, and we're trying to find what our whole number is. and our part is 182. Okay? All right. So now, again, this is 0.28. W equals 182. It's like 0.28 times whatever our whole number is, will equal 182. So to undo our multiplication, we have to divide. We'll divide both sides by 0.28 because our goal is to get our W on this side by itself, which we did because 0.28 divided by 0.28 is 1. So we're left with one whole, whatever the whole is. So now 182 divided by 0.28. Okay, again, we've got to make our divisor a whole number. So we have to move our decimal point 2 places to the right and then 2 places to the right here as well. Okay? And always, before you divide, always put your decimal point in your quotient where it belongs so that you don't forget to do that. Okay, now 28 can't go into 1. It can't go into 18, but it can go into 182, and that would be 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 4 is 16. So let's subtract here. Bring down our next number. 28, okay, goes into 140 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. 0 and carry the 4. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14. We subtract, we get 0. Got one more number to bring down, which is a 0. 28 can't go into 0, so we put a 0 there. So there's what your whole number would be equal to, 650. Okay? All right. Do skill check 3. You're doing the same kind of problems here. Do skill check 3. Email me your answers, and I'll be glad to check it for you. Okay? Have a great day.